Then comes another rule, use of or, either or, neither nor, if these words are there in the subject. So if we see that in a sentence these words are being used, or, either or, neither nor, then what is the verb that is to be used? Now there are few rules that you'll have to remember. First is, if the subjects are both singular, then the verb will also become singular. For example, again we see that in the subject they are not using and, they are using or. Thomas or Mary. So they are, or is used, that means only one person we are talking about, either Thomas or Mary. So when we are talking of singular subject, we will have singular verb is picking. We will not say Thomas or Mary are picking. No. If we had, instead of or, they had written say and, then what will we do? If there were two singular subjects given joined by and, what do we do? Thomas and Mary, plural verb, are picking you up at the airport. So if and was written, it will become plural verb. But when or is given, then the subject becomes singular and the verb will also become singular. Thomas or Mary is picking you up. So whenever you find or written in the subject, you will go with the singular verb. Clear? If there is or used and both these subjects, both of them are singular. Thomas is only one person, Mary is also one person. Both are singular, so we will write singular verb. Now what happens when the subjects are plural? Now suppose they have used either or is being used, or neither nor, either or is being used. If the subjects are plural, then the verb will also become plural. Neither the students nor the teachers. Students is also plural, teachers is also plural. Both are plural, so here the verb will also become plural. Were impressed. So when you have singular subjects, it will become singular verb. When there are plural subjects with neither nor or, then it will become plural verb. Now what happens when there is a mix of them? There is one singular and one plural verb. Then what will we do? Either her sons, now this is plural, either her sons or their mother. This is singular. So if one of the subjects is singular and the other subject is plural, the verb agrees with the nearer subject. What does it mean with the nearer subject? Either her sons plural or her mother singular. Here now whatever verb will be the closest subject, which subject is closest to this verb? Mother, their mother. So the verb will be accordance with that. Here it is a singular subject, so the verb will become singular. We will not take into consideration her sons. No. Only which subject is close to this one, we will write accordingly. Either her sons or their mother feeds the dog. Her mother feeds the dog each other. Suppose now sons was written close to the feeds. See the example. Either their mother or her sons. Then it will become feed the dog each day. Here it is plural subject, so it becomes plural verb. Here it is singular subject, so it becomes singular verb. So in the case of either or, neither nor, when both are singular, you will simply write singular subject, singular verb. When both are plural, you will write plural verb. If suppose one is singular, one is plural, so whichever subject is given close to the verb will be agreeing with that subject. If it is singular, it will be singular. If it is plural, then it will become plural. I hope this part is very much clear to you, that in the case of either or, neither nor, the closest one to the verb, that is what it is taken care of. You can simply remember like this also. Like here also, if you see this is singular in the case of or, which is the closest to the verb. So if this is singular, this also becomes singular. This is plural, this also becomes plural. So whichever subject is closest to the verb will follow that rule. If it is singular, it will become singular. If it is plural, it will become plural. So either or, neither nor, or in case or is given, in that case, this is the rule that will be followed. I hope this part is clear to you. And do not get confused with the previous rule that we studied. Again, just quickly revise when we talked of with and as well as. Here the verb will be agreeing. Remember, when we are talking of with or as well as, the verb agrees with the first subject, not the nearest one. No, it will not agree with the nearest one, it will agree with the first subject. The verb will agree with the first subject, whatever the first subject is. If it is singular, it will be singular, plural, then it will be plural. So when you see with or as well as, then look at the first subject, and when you have or, either, or, nor, then you will look at the closest subject to the verb, and the verb will be in accordance to that. I hope this part is clear to you all. Now, talking of some more rules, when there is use of each, everyone, every, space one, everybody, anyone, anybody, someone, no one, somebody, when these words are being used, remember each, everyone, anybody, somebody, anyone, then we will use singular verb. Each, let us see this one. Each of the girls sings well. So here you see each is used, so we will use singular verb. Every one of the cakes, every is used, so we will use singular verb is gone. Doesn't matter here the girls is written, it is plural, or cakes is plural, whatever, doesn't matter. You just look at it. If each is given, everyone is given, anyone, someone, somebody, everybody, if that is there, you will simply use singular verb. So remember this rule with each, everyone, everybody, anyone, anybody, somebody, someone, especially each. Remember each, every. So with these we will use singular verb. Now another rule says that when you are using few, a few, or few, many, several, both, all, some, then it will always take the plural form. So when you are talking of few, many, several, both, all, some, please pay attention to these terms. Then you will use the plural form. Some people in my office, some, are annoying. Some people in my office is annoying? No, are annoying. It becomes plural. Few mountain climbers have successfully, because some means it is more than one person, few means it is more than one, so it will become plural form, it will take the plural form. Some people are annoying, few have successfully reached the peak of Mount Everest, both of them have completed the work, all of them are doing their work. So it will take the plural form. Now when we are using these terms like much, a little, many, they will take the singular verb. So whenever you see much is used, too much of everything is bad, singular. Much has already been done, only a little of the work remains. So again it will take the singular verb. Much, a little, many, it will all take the singular verb. These all you don't have to learn as much. With practice also you will come to know that how we in our daily lives we talk like this only. It's just that when we study as a rule, it will become easier for us to not get confused in future. Much has already been done, much has already been talked about, too much of everything is bad. So here we are using singular verb. Now coming to collective noun, we all have studied about the collective noun. When we are referring to group of things, then we have a term used for that, that is collective noun. The group of students, when they said it is class, a swarm of bees, flight of stairs, fleet of ships. So we have studied about the collective noun, which refers to many singular noun collectively in a group. When we are referring to, that is collective noun. So what happens in the case of collective noun, whether we refer to them as singular or plural verb is used? A collective noun, it is sometimes taken with singular verb and sometimes with a plural verb. Now we have to be very careful, when do we take it as a singular verb and when do we take it as a plural verb. Let us understand with the help of example. The committee was of one opinion. Committee, again we know there are a group of people who form together a committee. So when we are referring to committee as one unit, we are talking them of combination combined together as a whole, we are referring to as one unit. Then we are referring to them as one singular unit, then we will use singular verb. The committee was of one opinion. That is entire committee. There's one committee. It was. We are referring to it as a singular entity. Then we will use singular verb. But when we are talking of the committee, as in when we are referring to each member of the committee individually, then we will use the plural verb. The committee were divided in their opinions. Here the committee, that is all the members of the committee, they were divided in their opinions. Everyone had different opinions. The jury was divided in their opinions. So here we are referring to not to the committee as a whole, we are talking of the individuals in that committee. So that is why it becomes plural, and that is when it takes the plural verb. So you have to be very careful whether the committee is being referred to as one singular unit, then we will use singular verb. When we are referring to it in a divided fashion to every individual separately, then it is plural. There is a large number of boys in this class. Is again singular. We are referring to this class as a whole. A large number of boys in this class. Now, we are referring to this entire class as a whole. That is by singular verb. A large number of boys. We are talking about multiple students. Large number of boys were caught. So we are talking about all of these boys. They were caught copy. Here we are referring to class as a single unit, and that is by singular verb. Here we are referring to the different boys separately. So we are talking of multiple people, so it becomes plural verb. Now whenever such collective noun is used like crew, mob, jury, council, cabinet, when these kind of collective noun are being used, then become more alert whether they are referring to them as one unit, use singular verb. If they are talking about it in when they are referring to each individual or many individuals of that group, then you will use it as a plural verb. And when you are referring to it as as a whole unit collectively together, then it is singular verb. A collective noun will take a singular verb. The crew, we are talking of the crew as a whole unit. The crew was large. The crew members were divided in their opinion. We are talking of different members, so it becomes plural. The crew members were divided in their opinion. The crew members were arguing among themselves. So when we are referring to its members individually, it becomes plural. Otherwise, when we are referring to the collective noun as one whole unit, it is singular only. So we will use singular verb. The crew was large. The fleet has set sail. Alright. So with collective noun, just be slightly more alert whether it is being referred to as whole single unit or whether we are referring to the different individuals or group of the people separately. If it is singular, then singular, plural, then plural verb. Now there is another case in which certain nouns, they look like they are plural, but they are actually singular, and because they are singular, so we will use singular verb with them. For example, news, innings, politics. Now even though they are ending with s, they are all singular. News, she is watching news. There is a breaking news on television. We don't say there are breaking news, there is a breaking news. So these all are singular terms, and so we have singular verb with them. News, innings, politics, summons, linguistics, billiards, athletics. Although they are ending with s, they all are singular terms and we use singular verb with them. In the case of subjects also, physics is one subject only. It is not multiple subjects. So it is singular subject, so we will use singular. Physics is my favorite subject. We don't say physics are my favorite subject. It is singular, so we'll use singular. Physics is my favorite subject. Mathematics is a tough subject. So these all, mathematics, physics, economics, ethics, these all are subjects, although they are ending with S, they are singular, so we will use a singular verb with them. Then there are certain diseases which end with S, but they are also single diseases. Measles, rickets, these are singular diseases, one disease only, so we will use singular verb with them. Measles is a deadly disease, so we use is a. We don't say measles are, no. So these are singular subjects and we will use singular verb with them, even though they are ending with S. So do not get confused. Be very vigilant when you are talking of these terms. Let us see some more rules. Some nouns which are plural in form but singular in meaning, that is, they are singular only, they are single only, so they will take a singular verb. Physics, physics is one subject only, it is singular, so we will use singular verb. Physics is not, we don't say physics are, we say physics is not an easy subject to learn. The news is true, we don't say the news are true. News is singular, so we will use singular verb is. Then when we are talking to some quantity or amount which is being considered as one whole, then also it will take a singular verb. 80 kilometers. So when we are talking about any quantity in kgs or so, or amounts, 80 kilometers, we will use singular verb. 80 kilometers was covered. 100 rupees is not a big sum. So whenever you are coming to such quantities or amount, or this is being given how much of a quantity, kilometers, kgs, rupees or so, you will use a singular verb. This is a rule. Then when a plural noun is the name of one thing, when especially we are referring to name of one country or name of one organization, so that will remain one country only, one organization only, so it will become a singular subject, so we will have a singular verb. Like the United States of America, this is one country only. Alright, even if it is running United States, this is one country only, USA. So we will use singular verb. Is a rich country. We do not say USA are a rich country. USA is a rich country. The CIS, Commonwealth of Independent States. It was previously called the USSR. So again, singular subject. So whenever you're talking of, suppose a country, any country like India, France, or any such, these are all singular entities. There's only one such country, one such nation, one such organization. So you will have a singular verb with them. So kindly pay attention when such terms are used. You will be using singular verb with them because they are referring to singular subject only. Another important rule is, if two singular subjects, they are expressing one idea, the verb will be singular. We have already talked about the rule of use of and, when we are using and. So when here again we are referring to, there are two singular subjects are being used, bread and butter. Bread is one singular subject, butter is another. Now what was the basic rule of and? When two singular subjects are used, then they become plural and we use plural verb. For example, Ram and Shyam are friends. That is how we studied about the rule of and. But what happens in some cases when we are using and when we are talking of two different singular subjects, but they are talking about one thing only. We are referring to one idea only. Bread and butter is my daily breakfast. So we are talking of one idea, that this is a breakfast we are talking about. So this becomes one single identity and we use singular verb with it. We will not say bread and butter are my daily breakfast. No, this is one thing only. They are talking, what is your breakfast? Bread and butter. This is one thing only. So we will have a singular verb. So whenever you see that there are two singular subjects but they are referring to only one idea, they are talking about one thing, one idea is being referred to, then we will have singular verb. Slow and steady wins the race. Here slow and steady is referring to one thing only, that slow and steady, two singular subjects these are, but they are talking about one thing, that they together help to win the race. So that is why slow and steady wins. Singular verb. They will act as singular subject and we will apply singular verb here. So revise all these rules properly and you will get to know when which verb is to be used accordance with the correct subject.